Right now on KRON4, trash piling up outside thousands of Bay Area homes. We'll show you where and tell you how long garbage workers will be off the job. Then, a rainy day so far around the Bay Area, how much more wet weather you can expect. I'm Pam Moore. The news at 5 is next.
This is the Bay Area's news station. KRON4 News at 5 starts now.
Developing news today at 5 o'clock. Garbage piling up across the Bay Area. It's all because of a two-day solidarity strike by trash collection workers at Republican Allied Waste. Tonight, KRON4 is live showing you what a mess this is quickly turning into for folks in the Bay Area. But first, Grant Lotus is standing by with the areas without garbage service right now. Grant.
Pam, that's right. Here are some of the places where trash is not being collected. We'll start with Union City and Fremont in the East Bay. You also have Fairfield and Suisun City, portions of Colma and Daly City on the peninsula, also Pacifica and Half Moon Bay. And we're hearing the garbage issue maybe even more widespread than this. KRON4's Justine Waldman live for us tonight in Daly City. She tells us a lot of people are not prepared to store their trash until next week. Right, Justine?
You got it, Grant. Here's the problem. People put their trash cans out on the curb today, and they're still here, and as you can see, filled with trash. If you get too close, though, it really does start to stink. And look down the street here. Tons of garbage cans up and down. People did not anticipate this today. They say they did not get notice that their garbage was not going to get picked up today. Now, when I talked to them in this neighborhood in Daly City, a lot of the people were telling me the garbage usually gets picked up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they were surprised to see that their bins were still out on the street and full when they got home this afternoon. Now, we found out that garbage did not get picked up because of a solidarity strike. Workers with Allied Waste Services in Ohio are on strike, and to show their support, local Teamsters here in the Bay Area also did not report to work today. Now, if we come back to me as we stand next to this very stinky garbage can, I'll explain that not only is garbage not going to get picked up today for people in Daly City, they'll have to wait until next week, but this problem will also continue tomorrow. Friday, garbage will not get picked up. Coming up on the KRON4 News at 6 o'clock, I talked to people in this neighborhood about how they feel about this very stinky situation. Live in Daly City, I'm Justine Waldman, KRON4 News.
Right now, stormy weather in the Bay Area. It's been a wet day so far. This is video in San Francisco. You can see the early morning downpour. Now to the East Bay. This is from the Oakland Hills, and you can see the rainwater pooling up on the side of the road in that area. And now a live look outside in San Francisco from our camera up Mount Tamalpais in the North Bay, and in San Jose, pretty cloudy all over the Bay Area right now. I'm here in the Weather Center with Jacqueline Bennett to find out when the next round of rain is going to kick in.
Well, it looks like we have a slight chance for this weekend. Definitely nothing like we saw today. As we take another live look outside from the San Mateo Bridge, right now we are still seeing cloudy conditions, but the rain has largely come to an end. There are a few areas of light drizzle, mainly up near the North Bay. But as for our rainfall totals over the past 24 hours, really, this is just since this morning. Santa Rosa got pounded out there this morning. Nearly an inch of rain there. The North Bay certainly was favored for rain today. About 3/4 of an inch of rain in Petaluma. San Francisco, about a half an inch of rain, about a third in Concord, and a 1/4 of an inch of rain in Union City. This came down all really fast because that system this morning just raced on through, so it was pouring at times this morning, but right now drier conditions on Storm Tracker 4 radar. A larger picture on satellite and radar shows the rain to the north, to the east of us. Decreasing clouds expected tonight. It's going to help lead to fog formation, drier conditions for tomorrow, but then we have another storm that's sitting right offshore that could impact us into the weekend. We're going to take a look at our chances of rain coming up in just a bit.
And of course, stormy weather means problems for travelers flying at San Francisco International Airport. That's always the case. Some flight delays earlier today, but we're told everything is pretty much back on time right now. And the stormy weather usually does not help the commute either. This is a live look now at the Golden Gate, the Bay, and the San Mateo bridges. And at this moment, no major problems to report. We will keep an eye out throughout the newscast tonight. Grant.
All right, Pam, developing right now, we are just hearing that a North Korean army official is now warning that, quote, the moment of explosion is approaching fast, end quote. The U.S. now transferring a missile defense system to Guam to protect its naval and air bases there. South Korea says Pyongyang has moved a medium-range missile to North Korea's east coast for a test firing or a military drill. It's kind of unclear at this point, but the U.S. has already moved American warships, 2 of them, and a sea-based radar platform closer to the Korean peninsula to monitor possible missile activity. We will certainly continue to monitor this situation, a volatile one in North Korea. Catherine.
Well, rescuers today found a hiker in Southern California. She had been missing since Sunday. 18-year-old Kendall Jack found on a rocky ledge. And just yesterday, her friend, 19-year-old Nicholas Sandoya, he was found. Both hikers very dehydrated. They are weak. No other details tonight on whether Kendall had other injuries. Those 2 teenagers had called for help Sunday. They said they could not find their car, but their cell phone battery died before rescuers could pinpoint their location. One of the rescuers fell today, a reserve deputy who suffered a head injury, and he has also been hospitalized. Grant?
All right, Catherine, dramatic video tonight. And police say it's more of the same from the man who drove his car into a San Jose Walmart Easter Sunday. You remember that? We now have surveillance video of what police say is the same guy crashing a different car into the Capitol Car Wash in San Jose. This back in December. I want you to take a closer look. This video is unbelievable. Keep your eyes right here, upper right-hand side of your screen, and watch as that car blasts right through the customer entrance. Zaid's Lexus fully entering the store. Now watch this employee right here. She has to dart out of the way, a terrifying moment for her. She runs to safety as the car really comes barreling towards her, pushing the shelving and countering. The woman would have been pinned against the back wall if she hadn't moved so quickly. And then you can see the suspect. There he is, Zaid, getting up on the counter after he exits his car. The 33-year-old goes and hides in the bathroom. Police say he's in the bathroom for about 15 minutes. You see police arrive. They have their guns drawn. Zaid eventually does come out of the bathroom. He's arrested there on the other side of his car. You can see them walking him out of the store. Officials say Zaid admitted to snorting meth before driving into the car wash that day. There's a real close look at it. A misdemeanor. He was bailed out. And then just a few months later, the very similar incident at the Walmart, which we're familiar with. KRON4's Rob Flattabo reports that prosecutors are now adding charges, trying to make sure Zaid doesn't crash through any more stores anytime soon.
This is the man who police and prosecutors say has a long history of dangerous drug-fueled behavior behind the wheel. 33-year-old Hamid Zaid, wearing an orange jail tunic but no restraints of any kind, quietly conferred with his attorneys here at the Hall of Justice Thursday, where he was charged with attempted murder.
Well, the facts of the case suggest he is, in fact, guilty of attempted murder, specifically his actions prior to smashing through the doors at Walmart.
In a new development, prosecutors now say that even before Zaid crashed through these now plywood-covered front doors of the Walmart and attacked customers with a metal bar, and before he drove wildly around the parking lot hitting 2 cars, there were reports Zaid was doing the very same thing in a nearby neighborhood before heading to the Walmart. His attorney, though, says the attempted murder charge is off base.
The charges, unlike what he was arrested for, are not 245, which is an assault, but attempted murder, which requires the specific intent to murder the person.
Zaid is also charged with 2 counts of assault in connection with the gas station incident. Standing quietly, hands clasped behind his back, Zaid faces 12 charges in all, including assault, hit and run, and reckless driving. Additional drug charges are pending. If convicted on that attempted murder charge, Zaid could be sentenced to life in prison. For now, he remains locked up here in the Santa Clara County Jail, where he is held without bail. In San Jose, Rob Flattabo, KRON4 News.
Today, Facebook unveiled its vision of a smartphone. KRON4's tech reporter Gabe Slade is here to show us what the company came up with. Gabe.
Yeah, well, this is it. It's called Facebook Home. And what they did, instead of creating a new Facebook phone, they decided to create new software that would take existing phones and turn them into Facebook phones. Now, people who use Facebook a lot on their phone, they are going to love this. Here's a closer look.
The home screen is really the soul of your phone. You look at it about 100 times a day. It sets the tone for your whole experience, and we think that it should be deeply personal. With Home, you see your world through people, not apps.
For now, this new Facebook Home experience will only be offered for Android smartphones. Home will be an app that you can download from the Google Play Store, like any other Android app. But this is much more than an app. It changes an Android phone into a Facebook phone. It alters the Android operating system. It's a completely different user interface. An interface that puts Facebook content first.
Since Home is the lock screen in addition to the home screen, you don't need to do any swipes or gestures in order to be able to see this content. So you can flip through stories if you want, and if you find something that you like, you can double tap to like it right there. You can comment right there from the home screen.
Under this Home software that puts the Facebook layer on top of the phone, there is still a regular Android phone underneath. To access apps or phone functions, it's easy, just a swipe away. So the Android phone you know and are comfortable with is still there, it's just underneath. Facebook Home is going to slowly roll out to the market. On April 12th, it will be available for a small handful of AT&T Android phones. Around that date, they will update us on when other phones can receive the Home download. Gabe Slate, KRON4 News.
Oakland police admitting today that a 16-year-old boy who was shot by officers last night was innocent of the crime they were investigating. The police shooting happened after the robbery of a restaurant worker in downtown Oakland about 10 o'clock last night. This was the scene near 10th Street and Jefferson. Oakland Police Chief Howard Jordan says a witness pointed out 3 teenage suspects.
Following a preliminary investigation, we determined that the young men injured, as well as the 2 companions, were not responsible for the reported robbery and were uninvolved. They are juveniles ages 15 to 16, and they are all Oakland residents. According to the officer's statement, he perceived a threat from one of the individuals and fired a single round. The outcome is unfortunate for all involved and will receive the review it deserves.
The owner of the restaurant whose employee was robbed shows us where the crime occurred, and he has a different account of exactly what happened prior to the shooting. We'll have that story tonight on KRON4 News at 6. Catherine.
Well, he was probably the best-known film reviewer of his generation, Roger Ebert. He died today at age 70. His death was announced by the Chicago Sun-Times, where he worked for decades. Roger Ebert's film reviews were considered smart and insightful, and when he hated something, they could be deliciously biting and funny. He clearly loved his job.
I started going to the movies when I was a child, like everybody did. My aunt would take me to the grown-up movies. My dad took me to see the Marx Brothers, and I just love movies.
Ebert began writing film reviews for the Chicago Sun-Times in the late 60s. In 1975, he became the first film critic to win the Pulitzer Prize for criticism. In 2005, the first critic to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His columns were syndicated in more than 200 newspapers. He wrote more than 15 books and even dabbled in screenwriting, working on Beyond the Valley of the Dolls in 1970.
Come on, Casey, let's split.
In 1976, he teamed with a competitor, Gene Siskel, from the Chicago Tribune, their thumbs-up, thumbs-down rating system becoming their trademark. When first told Siskel would be his co-host, he says the answer was at the tip of my tongue, no. But it worked. Later, after losing his voice and the ability to eat after thyroid and salivary gland cancers, Ebert was writing, reviewing, tweeting, some say working harder than ever.
My legacy, if there is one, will have to do with supporting films that people might not have seen and supporting directors that deserve support. But from the very beginning, it's been very important to me to go out and look for independent films, documentaries, first films by young directors, and foreign films, because those are the ones people need to hear about.
Ebert married his wife, Chaz, about 15 years ago. She survives him and became his voice, really, at public events when he could no longer speak. Ebert was writing up until hours before his death, and in a magazine interview, he once said, "When I am writing, my problems become invisible, and I am the same person I always was." Pam?
President Barack Obama now wrapped up his Bay Area visit. Air Force One leaving just hours ago, where he spent his last day here, coming up after the break.
And of course, the president was here to raise money, and clearly he's got some wealthy local supporters. Next, how much cash he raked in.
Then it's always a spectacle when the president comes to town, right? From Air Force One, Marine One to the presidential motorcade, KRON4 breaks down what it all costs.
And the rain is largely coming to an end, but are we going to see rain again this weekend? I'll have that answer coming up.
President Barack Obama wrapped up his two-day fundraising trip in Atherton today, where he was, of course, the star attraction. KRON4's Maureen Kelly shows us how his visit generated a lot of excitement as well as criticism.
You're watching the presidential motorcade as it pulls away from the nearly $33,000 a plate brunch at a private home in this wealthy Silicon Valley suburb. The spectacle stopped traffic and brought out Obama supporters and the just plain curious to try and catch a glimpse and maybe snap a photo.
I saw the president. I'm so excited.
It's a piece of history.
The president was also greeted by environmentalists like this Sunnyvale resident who says she waited for Obama to whiz by with about 100 others for close to 2 hours in the hopes that he saw their signs calling on him to reject the construction of a pipeline which would carry oil from Canada to Texas.
I'm a mother, and I really do believe that this is one of those key moments that we really do need to stop this.
This video shows the motorcade as it drives away from the final fundraiser of the trip, where donors could spend anywhere from $1,000 to attend to $5,000 to snap a picture with the commander-in-chief. A neighbor who says she didn't have that kind of cash took some video of what she called a waste of law enforcement resources.
In England, when they have some royalty or someone coming through, everybody just comes out and has a look, and there's not all these cars and people standing around guarding.
Others who came to look say they just had to, since it's not every day the leader of the country has lunch around the corner. Maureen Kelly, KRON4 News.
Well, we don't have the fundraising totals yet on today's events, but the president did very well in two other events yesterday. We now know that he raked in $3.2 million for House Democrats. Not bad for a couple of House parties, both, of course, again at the homes of wealthy donors. One of Wednesday's events was for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the other for House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. Grant?
Catherine, Representative Pelosi and the DNCC will not get to keep all of that money. Some of it, maybe a lot of it, will have to go towards paying for the president's trip. Air Force One, Marine Corps One, a fleet of bulletproof vehicles, a small army of federal, state, and local security personnel. The president does not travel cheap. How much are all of us paying for the presidential visit? The answer is, we will never know. The White House does not reveal that information. What we do know is this. Air Force One, the modified Boeing 747 that brought him here, costs about $180,000 an hour to fly. On purely political trips, whether it's campaigning or fundraising, the president has to reimburse the government, but only for the comparable cost of chartering a private jet, about $25,000 an hour max. Plus, this trip was not purely political. The president stopped in Denver to campaign for gun control, which qualifies as official business. On mixed-purpose trips like this one, taxpayers pay for time spent at official meetings and receptions. They do not pay for expenses associated with political meetings, receptions, and rallies. So here in the Bay Area, the president had to pay for all his rooms at the Intercontinental Hotel, as well as all meals, but he does not have to pay for the Secret Service. They are always considered to be on official travel, and all of their costs are paid by the taxpayers. And all of these costs do not include overtime pay for local police or other expenses for the city of San Francisco. Pam.
President Obama left on Air Force One just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. KRON4 Scott Rates was there for the takeoff from SFO.
This is what it looked like as the president's helicopter brought him to the airport. They got here very quickly, that helicopter arriving before schedule. You can see the president getting out of that chopper and giving a salute before he walked across the tarmac. He gave a few waves, walked up the steps, and turned around one last time and gave another wave before boarding Air Force One. Members of his staff also quickly boarded that aircraft. Once that door was shut, they did not waste any time before getting airborne and wrapping up the president's visit to the Bay Area. Now, the next stop for the president will be on Monday. He's expected to speak in Connecticut at the University of Hartford. Reporting at SFO, Scott Rates, KRON4 News.
Well, we woke up to some very soggy conditions this morning as we take a live look outside from our camera atop Mount Tamalpais. It's still very cloudy in the higher elevations, and we're still seeing clouds around much of the Bay Area, but no rain. A few areas of light drizzle through the North Bay and near San Francisco, but that's it. The rain has tapered off as we head into the overnight hours. Expect fog. Skies are going to clear. We'll have light winds and the rain on the ground. Perfect conditions for fog formation. So reduced visibility tomorrow morning, especially in the North Bay. Into Saturday and Sunday, we have another chance of showers, but mainly that chance will be focused up in the North Bay. A better chance Sunday evening for the rest of the Bay Area, though. More on that in a moment. First, let's take a look at satellite radar picture. The showers are up to the north and to the east of us. We're seeing some decreasing cloud coverage right now. We have clearer conditions offshore for Friday, but then as we head into the weekend, another system is brewing off to the west, and that will impact us into the weekend. So first, let's talk temperatures tomorrow afternoon. Not a bad day. We should see some sun breaks in the afternoon, especially in the South Bay. So upper 60s and low 70s are expected. 70 in Cupertino, 67 for Mountain View, 68 for San Jose. For our East Bay inland valleys, it'll be the upper 60s tomorrow afternoon. The mid to upper 60s for our East Bay shores. Richmond, though, a little cooler at 62 degrees. 62 also in San Francisco, 50s near the coastline, and a range of low to upper 60s for the North Bay. Now let's talk more about that weekend rain. Futurecast 4 set for Friday evening. You'll see all the rain concentrated to the north and to the east of us. As we head into Saturday morning, it stays that way, but you see some rain getting a little closer to the North Bay and into early Saturday afternoon. There's our chance of rain. Not great. A few light sprinkles in the North Bay for Saturday, and then a better chance with what's coming in for Sunday, and that'd be Sunday evening for the rest of the Bay Area. So look at your extended forecast. Foggy conditions tomorrow, but dry. Into Saturday and Sunday, the best chance of rain will be the North Bay, but Sunday, a better chance south of the Golden Gate. Into next week, big changes. We're going to see a big warm up by Wednesday and Thursday, back in the 80s. And remember, you can watch the weather forecast whenever it's convenient for you on our 24/7 Bay Area News Channel. You can get headlines and live traffic there. It's on Comcast Channel 193 and on KRON4.com.
And people are sending some great storm pictures into our newsroom, like this beautiful rainbow right here, right after the rain stopped. And we're always looking for more pictures like it. You can message us on Facebook or email us, breakingnews@KRON4.com. We'll be showing you more photos coming up later in the show. Keep it here. More news after the break.